An archipelago of over 7,000 islands, the Philippines stretches across the Pacific, its emerald rice terraces carved into the mountains by ancient hands. A nation at the crossroads of Southeast Asia, whose story is one of incredible resilience, rich culture, and a relentless fight for identity. From above, turquoise lagoons and lush green islands reveal a land shaped by water and time, each island holding its own unique tale. As the sun rises, the majestic Mayon volcano stands in golden hour light, its perfect cone silhouette piercing dramatic clouds. This iconic volcano, both beautiful and formidable, has watched over generations, a symbol of nature's power and the enduring spirit of the Filipino people. The heart of the nation beats in Manila, where jeepneys weave through crowded intersections, vendors line the bustling streets, and neon lights flicker against towering skyscrapers. Here, tradition and modernity collide in a vibrant, fast-paced dance that never truly sleeps. This is the history of the Philippines, a story written across islands in every city and every wave that touches its shores. The Philippine flag waves in golden sunlight, its fabric rippling majestically in the breeze. Each color and symbol tells a story of struggle and hope. Blue for peace, red for bravery, and the sun and stars for unity and freedom. As the flag flutters, it reflects the pride and resilience of a people who have weathered centuries of change, always holding their identity high. In every fold, the flag carries the dreams and sacrifices of generations. Bathed in the warm glow of the setting sun, it stands as a testament to the enduring spirit of the Filipino nation. Long before colonizers arrived, the islands were inhabited by diverse peoples who called this land home, shaping its earliest history. The Taban man, whose remains were discovered in Palawan, represents some of the earliest settlers of the archipelago, offering a glimpse into prehistoric life in the Philippines. Over thousands of years, sophisticated societies emerged. The barangays, led by Dadas. These communities built traditional villages, developed unique customs, and thrived along the coasts and rivers. They were skilled seafarers, navigating the open seas in balangay boats, and trading with neighbors across Asia, exchanging goods, ideas, and culture. Maritime trade flourished as Filipino sailors charted routes to China, India, and Malaysia. Animated maps show vessels crisscrossing the seas, dotted lines tracing ancient trade networks. These exchanges brought porcelain, silk, and spices, enriching local life and connecting the islands to a wider world. From this vibrant period, we inherit foundational cultural elements. The Baybayin script, with its elegant characters scrolling across ancient manuscripts, epic poetry like the Hinalawad, passed down through generations, and a complex animistic belief system that honored spirits in nature, guiding daily rituals and community life. Animistic rituals brought communities together around sacred fires. Shamans in ceremonial costumes led prayers and offerings, while families gathered in communal celebration. These traditions, rich in symbolism and color, formed the spiritual backbone of early Filipino society, echoing through the centuries to the present day. In 1521, Ferdinand Magellan arrived on these distant shores, his ship sailing into the archipelago and forever altering its destiny. With a single act, he claimed the islands for Spain, marking the beginning of centuries of foreign rule. The Spanish flag, unfurled across the world map, signaled a new era for the Philippines. But the first encounter was met with fierce resistance. On the shores of Mactan, the chieftain Lapu-Lapu and his warriors stood their ground, repelling Magellan and his men in a legendary battle. This moment would echo through history as the first successful defense against European intrusion, a symbol of Filipino courage and defiance. By the 1570s, Spanish expeditions had returned, determined to establish a permanent colony. They named the islands Las Islas Filipinas, after King Philip II of Spain. On ancient maps, the new colony took shape, its boundaries drawn and redrawn as Spanish influence spread across the archipelago. For more than 300 years, Spanish rule reshaped the islands. Stone fortresses rose along the coasts, their walls standing as silent witnesses to centuries of change. The Spanish brought new laws, new customs, and a new religion, forever altering the fabric of Filipino society. The cross and the sword worked hand in hand. Massive conversions to Catholicism swept the islands, and grand churches were built, some of which still stand today as icons of faith and colonial architecture. Inside these sacred spaces, the echoes of prayers and the glow of stained glass told the story of a people transformed. The economy thrived on the Manila-Acapulco galleon trade, with Spanish galleons crossing vast oceans, connecting Manila to the Americas and Europe. Manila became a bustling global hub, its harbors filled with ships, goods, and people from distant lands, all converging in a vibrant exchange of cultures and commerce. Yet beneath the surface, this rule was built on deep inequality. The native population faced forced labor, heavy taxation, and social divisions that favored the Spanish elite. The seeds of discontent began to grow, quietly shaping the future of the nation. The Ilustrados, an educated Filipino class, rose to challenge these injustices. Among them was José Rizal, whose writings awakened a sense of national identity and exposed the abuses of colonial rule. His novels, and ultimately his execution, ignited the flame of revolution, inspiring a generation to dream of freedom. In 1896, the secret society Katipunan, led by Andrés Bonifacio, launched a revolution against Spanish rule. Armed with courage and hope, Filipino revolutionaries fought for independence, their struggle echoing through the streets and fields of the islands. By 1898, leaders like Emilio Aguinaldo stood on a balcony in Cavite and declared the birth of the Philippine Republic. The flag waved proudly, and for a brief moment, freedom was within reach. But the struggle was not yet over. The nation's newfound liberty would soon face new challenges on the world stage. As the Spanish departed, the American flag was raised, signaling a new era. The Spanish-American War brought the United States to the Philippine shores, forever altering the island's destiny. In the 1898 Treaty of Paris, Spain sold the Philippines to the United States for $20 million. This transaction, signed on official documents, marked the beginning of American rule and led to the bloody Philippine-American War, as Filipinos fought fiercely for their independence. The struggle for freedom was written in declarations and in the sacrifices of countless lives as the islands were thrust into a new chapter of conflict and hope. Black and white combat footage reveals the harsh realities of war, American troops advancing through dense jungle, Filipino guerrillas fighting bravely, and the land scarred by violence. The cost was immense, casualties mounted, and families were torn apart, but the spirit of resistance endured. With the war's end, American rule introduced English, public education, and new infrastructure. Classrooms filled with eager students, roads and bridges rose across the archipelago, and a promise of gradual self-governance was made, offering hope for a brighter future. But that path was shattered by the outbreak of World War II. The construction of modern bridges and cities was halted as the world was plunged into chaos, and the Philippines became a battleground once again. The Japanese invasion was brutal, with people forced from their homes and communities, gathered in fear. The Bataan Death March soon became a symbol of suffering and endurance, as thousands of Filipino and American soldiers were forced to march under the scorching sun, many never reaching the end. Amidst the devastation, hope returned with the famous landing of General MacArthur. Black and white footage shows him wading ashore, determined to fulfill his promise. "I shall return." The liberation of the Philippines was underway, but the cost would be high. The war culminated in the devastating Battle of Manila in 1945. The city was left in ruins, buildings reduced to rubble, streets empty and silent. Yet, through the destruction, the spirit of the Filipino people remained unbroken, ready to rebuild and rise again. On July 4, 1946, the Philippines finally gained full independence. The Philippine flag waved proudly in the wind, a symbol of a new era, and the hopes of a nation ready to chart its own destiny. The post-war era was a struggle to rebuild. Cities lay in ruins, and communities worked tirelessly to restore homes and infrastructure, determined to rise from the devastation and reclaim their future. Then came the dictatorship of Ferdinand Marcos. For 21 years, martial law gripped the nation, bringing human rights abuses and massive debt. The faces of the people reflected both fear and defiance, as the country endured hardship under authoritarian rule. The nation's despair culminated in the peaceful 1986 People Power Revolution, known as EDSA. Crowds filled the streets waving flags and joining hands in a global symbol of non-violent change that ousted the dictator and restored hope to the Filipino people. In the years that followed, the country witnessed a return to democracy. Presidents took their oaths before the nation, long lines formed at polling stations, and political rallies echoed with the voices of a people reclaiming their right to choose their leaders and shape their future. The modern era brought new opportunities. In bustling offices, call center agents answered calls from around the world, while glass skyscrapers rose above the city skyline, reflecting the Philippines' emergence as a global hub for business process outsourcing. The subsequent decades have been a roller coaster of challenge and growth. Democracy was tested and rebuilt, natural disasters struck but communities persevered, and an economic boom was fueled by overseas Filipino workers and the BPO industry. In airports, families reunited and said their goodbyes, while the rise of digital democracy and strong leadership signaled a new chapter for the nation. Today, the Philippines stands resilient, its people shaped by history, united by hope, and ever ready to face the future together. From ancient voyagers who braved the open seas, to colonial subjects forging new identities, from revolutionaries fighting for freedom, to digital citizens shaping the future, each era has left its mark. As we look back through archival images, we see the faces and places that have defined the Philippines, a nation whose story is written in resilience. The history of the Philippines is etched in the walls of old churches and fortresses, sung in the hymns of festivals, and carried in the heart of every Filipino around the world. As vibrant parades wind through the streets, the colors and music echo centuries of tradition and pride, uniting generations in celebration of their shared heritage. This is a history not just of events, but of an unbreakable spirit, a spirit seen in every smile, every dance, and every act of hope. As we watch people in traditional costumes move gracefully through the parade, we are reminded that the Filipino spirit endures, adapting and thriving through every challenge. As the sun sets over the Philippine flag waving in the golden light, its fabric rippling against a dramatic sky, we reflect on the sacrifices and triumphs that have shaped this nation. The flag stands as a symbol of unity and hope, its colors glowing in the fading sunlight, reminding us of the enduring legacy of the Filipino people and their unwavering pursuit of a brighter tomorrow. In these final moments, as the flag continues to wave and the sky deepens into dusk, the story of the Philippines comes full circle. The channel logo appears gently over the sunset, a quiet tribute to a nation whose journey is far from over. The music fades, but the spirit of the Filipino people lives on, resilient, proud, and ever hopeful. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more content on history and culture.